Hello, I want to thank you for coming to your child's IEP meeting today. First order of business is I would like to go around and have all of the IEP team introduce themselves. And once that's done, we'll go over procedural safeguards. My name is Brittany Perez. I am the special education teacher and case holder for your child's IEP meeting today. And we're going to go start off with the procedural safeguards. This is your copy to take home and keep and read over, so you make sure that you have all of that information on hand. Now I'm briefly going to go over the procedural safeguards and why they are important. Basically, these are your rights as a parent of a child with a disability. You have certain rights under the IDEA or IDEA, and this little packet basically just goes over those rights that you have as a parent. So I'm just going to briefly do an overview of those rights. So first off, you have the right to participate. You have the right to participate and refer your child for an IEP or the development of an IEP. You also have the right to receive prior notice. Prior written notice is if the district is going to initiate or refuses the request to initiate an assessment or educational placement in special education. And you also have the right to receive that written notice and prior notice in your native language. Secondly, you have the right to inform consent and refuse consent. You have the right to consent before your child is assessed for special education services if this is something you did not initiate and the school initiated. You also have the right to consent to any placement changes within your child's placement, or if that would occur. And then again, you also have the right to refuse assessment or placement in special ed or getting special education services. You also have the right to an independent educational assessment. You, as the parent, can disagree with the results of an assessment that is conducted by the school. And you have the right to obtain an educational evaluation at public expense. So you have the right to obtain an independent evaluation for your child if you disagree with any of the assessments the district is providing. You also have the right to have access to your child's educational records. You can inspect, you can review, you can obtain copies of these records. You have the right to do that as this child's parent. You also have the right to disagree with the district regarding your child's placement or a proposed change in placement. The law requires a student to stay put in the current program until a dispute like this is resolved, though. So part of that, you do have the right to disagree with placement, but the child is to stay put in placement until the dispute is resolved. You also have a right to be given a hearing regarding the disagreements of an IEP. You have a right to complain relating to any provision of FAPE or free appropriate public education for your child. You have a right to obtain an attorney or an advocate for your student and go through the due process hearing to make that sure that all of these safeguards and procedures are being done correctly for your child, especially if you're in disagreement with any type of placement or anything within the IEP, and that can't be resolved in a normal IEP meeting. You also have the right to file a complaint against your school district. if you believe that your child is not receiving appropriate placement or services and your district is failing to meet those needs. You have a right to complain. You also have a right to be informed of school discipline and alternative placement. There are very specific rules for children that are in the special education placement. And if you have questions, we can go over those rules a little bit later. But yes, there are specific rules for school punishments or discipline and how that process works. We also want to let you know that you have the right to just basically be informed of anything going on with your child's educational placement in special education. You have the right to come and obtain a meeting with us and things like that. So that was just like a brief rundown. What I recommend is that you take this copy home and you read through it on some free time, highlight anything that you may not understand or that you need some clarification on, and go ahead and you can give me a call, or you can use the app and message me, and we can either do a phone call conference and talk about these things, or if I don't have the direct answers, I can get you in touch with someone who does. But I just appreciate you coming today, and so those are your procedural safeguards. If you can go ahead, if you have any questions or concerns about those safeguards, now's the time to lay it all out on the table so we can get through onto the rest of the IEP. Thank you.